Come on in. Looks.
Yep. So let's see.
Mateo, how are you, brother?
Hey, doing all right.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Appreciate you coming over.
Yeah.
So, I want to go over all this shit. I mean, you got a lot. We play in a band together, Ransom Act.
Yep.
And Dear Luna is the other
Dear
band you
Luna's
play.
another one.
Who else you play with?
I actually have a sticker up here for my Queens of the Stone Age tribute
Oh,
band.
awesome.
And that band. And then I'm also in Brittany's band. So that's Luke's fiance for anyone that knows Ransom Act. But yeah, so I'm in 4 bands total.
Busy man. And
Busy
you're
man.
teaching lessons.
And I'm teaching lessons, and I work at School of Rock, and
all kinds
all
of
the
music,
things.
all the time.
and I'm in school.
And what are you studying?
Music production.
There you go, man. You're getting it from both sides.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
Every angle.
Tell me how you got started in music. I guess start there, right?
Yeah.
The genesis.
Yeah. The genesis it's a long story, but basically when I was a kid, I was in pre-K, and my teachers, I can't remember if it was her sister, her daughter, or cousin, or I can't remember what the relation was. It's been so long. I'm still in touch with that teacher, so I could probably ask her, but she would come in and play the violin for us and like play us a lullaby as we went to sleep for our nap time. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to play that instrument. So I begged my parents
To buy you a violin.
to get me violin lessons. Yeah, and get me violin and all that. And they found me a teacher, but he was not available until the next year. So I had to wait a whole year before I could start. But I
And
ended
you were
up,
5?
I was,
6?
it took them a while to find the teacher, but I was like probably 7, maybe, 6 or 7 when I started violin.
So I love the violin. I never had ambitions of playing it, but it's a very emotive instrument in a different
Absolutely.
way. But guitar has like that same vibe.
Yeah,
I
guitar
hear
has
that
a
in your
lot.
playing though.
Uh-huh.
I hear the practice on the violin because it's all in your vibrato and
Oh, absolutely.
It's all
Vibrato
about how
and
you-
the shifting and
yeah, the
Yeah.
touches. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that without the proper training I got later on in high school, I don't think I'd be nearly as good at the guitar. For a while, like I love my first teacher, Lewis Case. He's great. Love the guy. He's a super fun guy. But we didn't. He's more focused on how you could do something rather than like the actual specific way of doing it, which is fun.
Mhm.
And I think that really worked well for me as a kid.
Sure.
But later on, I needed a little more strict instruction. So I later took lessons from Jefe Pelletier, who's in the Dallas Symphony Orchestra.
Wow.
So I got some like really professional lessons. So I'm like, I can truly say that I'm a classically trained violinist.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. So I did things from Bach, Vivaldi, and Beethoven, and Shostakovich, and Tchaikovsky, and like all the big names I played in high school, and that was what I was there for, was violin. And I later also took guitar classes as well, but
Yeah.
still.
When did the transition? And not maybe it hasn't fully happened. I'm sure you probably still practice the violin. a
Eh,
bit, but
actually, I think the transition fully happened after high school. I was so burnt out on violin because I was doing so much in high school. I was doing orchestra, I was doing string techniques, I was doing symphony, I was doing jazz singers, I was doing contemporary ensemble, and guitar styles and techniques, and music theory, and I was in a band outside of that gigged frequently. All at the same time. And junior year was like the most hellish year because of that. But it was super fun. I wouldn't have had it any other way. But man, I found that I couldn't play the violin and have fun anymore because I always had to work on something. And at the time we were playing stuff that I wasn't particularly enjoying. So just kind of, and then same with senior year, I was like, we were playing stuff like I could play it, but like I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah, you weren't into it.
Right, and I didn't really have any other time to play violin for fun because I was working with my band or I was writing stuff or, and that was more joyful for me. So I felt to go to guitar. And then later on I went to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. But that was short-lived because I went there in 2019 and we all know what happened in 2020.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, just the online classes were kind of a weird transition and they didn't really know what they were doing. So I just was like, all right, well, I'm going to stay home and, form some bands and had those experiences while I was there. And eventually I still hate Texas. I will never go back. That heat is unbearable. I mean, we've had some hot days here lately, but.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know, man. I'm from Texas, so I know.
Oh, yeah.
I go down there every summer, pay the price.
Oh yeah, paying the price is right. Ugh.
Well, awesome, dude. Let's get some close views of some of these weapons of choice here. All right, who do we have here?
So this is my gold Strat. It's a Shiji. I actually normally play an Aerodyne Fender Strat, but that one needs some work. So I've been kind of playing this one a lot lately. But usually when if I have to go to the studio and I don't know what I'm playing, I tend to grab the Strat just because it kind of covers all my bases generally. But yeah, it's been super great. The nice thing is that it's a hard tail, so I don't have to worry about the strings going out of tune when I bend.
Right.
So that's super nice. It's got a very nice feeling switch. Got the HSS setup, which is just unbeatable. This neck feels super good. It's a nice roasted.
It looks
maple
like roasted
neck.
maple. Is there anything special with the pickups, or is it?
They're Japanese pickups, but I don't know exactly who makes them. I just know that they're Japanese based on other reviews I've seen. You get some Korean pots and other parts, but otherwise it's completely Chinese made. Oh, and actually this is a Canadian neck. Got the neck pickup. Got that in between. Got that middle, which I've actually been loving lately. I did a little solo on a demo. It goes. You get the classic Michael Jackson sound. Easy. And then if you've been to a Dear Luna show, you'll recognize this riff.
So what do we have here?
So this is a Partscaster Telecaster I found at a shop called Tone Shop Guitars in Texas, in Addison, Texas. Now they have 2 locations, so I have to be specific now. But when I found this, that I actually haven't changed anything on the neck. There was a shim added to the bottom of it because we found a little gap. But yeah, when I found it, it had a humbucker in the bridge. It was a Seymour Duncan, some kind. I don't remember what the pickups were, but they were both Seymour Duncan. It had a Strat neck and a humbucker. With a black bridge, and I thought that was the ugliest thing to put on this thing. So I swapped it out, and generally I'm not the biggest fan of having the slide switch this way. So I got a new plate, put the little Les Paul toggle, which I really like, because it's just so easy to flick it with the pinky. Super nice. And then I always, meant to put the knob on this, but the shaft is too big, so it stays off, but I keep it all the way up anyway. But I swapped out these pickups. I swapped out the pickups for a nice set of Fender Custom Shop 51 no caster pickups, and they just sound great. And I got the idea because I played this other Custom Shop telly that had the same pickups, and it was like the most gorgeous sounding Telecaster ever. And you plug it right in, it just was delicate and sweet, but still cut through. Roll the tone knob off. In fact, just to hear it without any of my pedals affecting the amplifier. Just beautiful.
Yeah, man,
sounding.
it sounds nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. It's very articulate.
That's what
Powerful.
I love most about these pickups. You get that power in the bridge, and then put my little saturation boost on. Here we got the living, breathing, fire-breathing monster.
Looks familiar.
Yeah, it looks a little familiar. You've probably seen this in some of the photos I've taken recently, some shows I've played recently. This one does not have a name yet. I have to figure something out for it.
If I may, let me give you the specs on this one.
Yeah, give me the specs on this one.
All right, so that's an African mahogany body. That's
Sweet.
a wingay neck, which is they're both African woods. That is a JB in the bridge, and that is a 59 in the neck. Goda auto stock,
hardtail?
hardtail, yeah. And
Yeah,
then
ABR style.
telly switch in it, and
Yep.
just
Master tone, master volume.
master tone, master volume.
If you may notice, you got an S-type body with
Yep.
nice arm contour here, tummy contour as well. We got a telly neck, and then basically all the guts are like Les Paul style.
Yeah, man. It's a smorgasbord of all of the guitars. That's what makes it awesome.
Oh yeah. And then of course you got the super nice.
Yeah, I got you a little
heel
cutaway
cut,
in there,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, the hip shot tuners.
Oh yeah, hip shot locking tuners. Got the nope, single string tree. I have another guitar that is double.
Well, they're staggered. The
Yeah.
tuners, if you look at them, they're staggered, so they get closer down.
Right.
So in theory, it should get rid of the string trees, but it doesn't quite get rid of the E and B one that I've come to realize. So I always had to put one extra on there.
Yeah.
What about this amp that you play through? Is this
Yeah.
your main one?
This is my only physical amplifier that I have left. I used to have, well, I've gone through a few amps over the years, but you know, I've had an AC-15. This is my AC-10 that I've had for, God, probably like 8 years now. Yeah, I had the AC-15 for a while, and then I let one of my older bands from Texas borrow it for a while, and then they got their own. So I was like, well, let me take mine back then. And then I had a Mesa Boogie Lone Star. It was really fun, but yeah, this just seems to keep being the right tool. You know, it's perfect for the studio. It's only 10 watts, but you've got a nice Celestion designed Vox speaker in there.
I've heard it on stage, man. It's
Yeah.
super loud.
It
For
cranks.
10 watts, it does the trick.
Yeah, and it's got just the right amount of headroom for the studio. It gets really nice clarity, really nice breakup. Even without any pedals going into it, you can turn that gain knob up, and it breaks up better than the higher wattage tube amps I find.
Right.
It just is a bit creamier, which is nice. But yeah, it's great. And then, because really all that is just the top boost channel of the AC-15 minus the tremolo, and that's kind of it. Super easy to use, and it's not confusing at all. I do wish it had a mid control, but either way, 2-band EQ is not bad. That's it. It's just real simple, real light. Never have to break your back carrying that thing around.
Right. So let's go into something that's not simple.
Okay.
This smorgasbord of pedals.
Okay, give me signal flow path here. So
we
start at the tuner?
We start at the tuner, yeah.
And then where do we go?
And then, oddly enough, just the way that happens to work out, it actually goes into the Qtron here, which is one of my favorite pedals of all time. And it's the same one that John Mayer uses, so of course I have to have the big box.
Oh.
But it's a pain in the butt.
Is that the reissue or is that an original?
No, that is an original.
Wow.
That is an original Qtron.
Let's hear it.
So we got, actually let me go into a lighter pedal, or lighter guitar, so
Yeah.
break up so quick.
Work.
All right. So up here, kind of likes the neck pick up a lot. Gotta play it slightly off so we don't get copyright.
Dig it, man. It's I can hear it, but it's not like overpowering.
Yeah.
It's just in.
It's not meant to be totally in your face.
Do you have
Just
some
like
dry mixed into it, or
is
it just kind of naturally
actually,
that
it's
way?
just kind of in there. On the newer versions, you have like a mix knob, but yeah, on these old ones, you don't get that. It's either you got to dry out, which is nice, but obviously I don't want to use that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Where does it go from there?
So from tuner into Qtron, this goes into the volume pedal,
Okay.
which
We
pretty
know what volume
self-explanatory.
pedal- Yep.
Yep. Which also can be doubled as an expression pedal, but
Mhm.
you need a TRS. But I don't really have anything that I feel like using the expression for. And then from the tuner goes into the switcher, and this is where things get complicated.
So this is out of the effects loop.
Yes. Yeah, that's all before the switcher. So we got the switcher, which is the Boss ES5. This is where things get a bit complicated. Not as complicated as it will be when I do some upgrades. But basically, for anyone that doesn't know how these things work, you plug in some pedals into the top side here. You've got your input here. You've got tuner out, which obviously I don't like using. But you have, as the name implies, effect switcher 5. So I've got 5 loops for 5 different pedals that I can plug in. Currently, I've got my POG 2, my JHS Haunting Mids, my Walrus Audio Kangra Filter Fuzz, my JHS AT Plus, and my Chase Bliss Generation Loss, all plugged into the ES5. And basically the way this works is that rather than tapping a ton of buttons to change what pedals are on, I only have to press 1, which is nice.
Yes.
Saves you a lot of time when you're having to drastically switch your sounds mid-song or mid-set.
How many different banks does this thing have?
I believe it's got 128 presets you can use.
Let me rephrase that. How many banks do you use?
I typically keep it on just the first bank and just use these, the first 5
Just the 5.
presets.
Yeah, okay.
But I have another one set up for Dead Lifeboat, for when I have all my MIDI stuff set up and ready to go, which I do not yet. So it's not being used currently.
Well, let's quickly go through. So I'm assuming you don't use those 5 pedals outside of what's in this.
Yeah,
How this is set up.
Generally not.
Okay.
This is the one that's kind of a mainstay. It always stays on.
Okay, so you
no
always
matter
have
what, no matter what button I push, this is always on.
And that's just to set you in the mix where you want to be.
No, actually, this is just a mid boost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's setting you in the mix,
Oh, I see.
guitar-wise,
Yeah.
where you want to be.
Yeah, and also it's nice because it adds a little bit of grit to some of these drive pedals that we can actually go through and kind of A/B what it sounds like. It's not a massive difference. It might not even be detectable on camera, but it adds a little bit of grit, which is nice.
Okay, well, let's go through these 5 sounds. So tell us what the first one is.
So the first one,
clean-ish.
yeah,
Tell me what
clean-ish.
clean-ish is.
So clean-ish is just in that, like, it's set, or my generation loss is set on the preset where it's not sounding like a VHS like it's meant to do. It's just adding a little bit of gain to the front end of the amp. And
What kind of pedal is that? I don't know that pedal very well.
So the Generation Loss by Chase Bliss. This is actually the Mark II version, but it's in cooperation with Cooper Effects, and they created a pedal called Generation Loss, which is a real thing. And that's Generation Loss is basically the effect in which you record something on an old tape, and then you re-record it, and you re-record it, and you re-record it, and as as the recordings go, the quality gets worse and worse, and it gets more artifacty, and there's some like warping that goes on, maybe some dust gets in there. So that pedal essentially
it's like a tape emulation, but even to the next level.
Exactly.
It's like a tape emulation on steroids or something.
Yeah, and just to give you a taste of what it's supposed to do. Ooh, try that one.
Oh wow, that's like really. Whoa, that's trippy.
Yeah.
So it has the what is it called? The flutter. It has the tape flutter.
It actually has a flutter knob.
Yeah.
It's got
Super
a flutter
fluttery.
knob and a wow knob and a saturation knob. It's got a mix knob, and it's also got a model knob. So you've got like 13 different models, 12 of which are actual real simulations of like toy tape recorders and VCRs and camcorders and cassette tapes and all these things. And one of them was a completely new algorithm created by the Chase Bliss team. It's called Broken, and well, it's broken. It's awesome.
That pedal's awesome. Let's hear it in the cleanish thing.
Yeah.
Where you like it.
So you usually have
Sounds
it set
like
from
you
here.
could do a million settings with it.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, and you can change all that via MIDI.
That's a different show. The pedal review of that.
That's if we want to do a deep dive.
Yeah.
You might watch a different video because there's so much that
there's
just
too
that
many
pedal can
knobs
do.
on that thing.
I know, and so you've got 6 knobs. You've got 3 switches that are all 3-way, and you've got another 3-way switch.
Toggle.
Yeah, you got your 3-way toggle for your presets. You got your bypass, and then you can set this for like auxiliary. So if you want to do like, go back to this one. So I'm maxing out the failure knob right now. It's like how much it stops and it's just dusty. Like where you can tap it to leave it on. You've got a rubbery stop.
Oh. That is awesome.
Just super cool.
That pedal's next level, man.
Yeah, so many fun things you can do with this, but I generally keep it there just to kind of keep and then you can't see it on camera, but there's tiny little switches up here that all do something different.
There's like another 12 up there.
Oh, there's another
little
16.
Dip switches.
Yeah, 16 little dip switches.
Gracious.
And every Chase Bliss pedal has those. So,
Dude, this show could be all about that stupid pedal right
It really could. Like a 3-hour episode just on that.
All right, let's hear it. Cleanish.
So cleanish. I've got it set right now so that it's a high enough gain that if I dig in, it'll break up a little bit, but if I hold back. It's still clean, but it's nice and saturated, really full and warm.
It's beautiful, man. That is cleanish.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the clean I like. Little saturated, you can roll it back.
Just like right on the edge of breakup, and then this also helps to drive some of that signal.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of mids. What does it sound like if you didn't have the mids in it? Just curious.
Back in. Kind of like a less aggressive.
Well,
clean.
to your point, you made a mid knob in your box. Is what you
Yeah, honestly.
now I understand.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
okay, sound 2.
Yeah. So sound 2 is actually sound 2 and sound 3 are set as the same thing, but it's supposed to be that this will be on at the same time. And I usually set this for, set this for preset 4 on here. So it should be doing this. Oops.
It's the police thing.
Yep. Can't play it in actual speed, otherwise copyright.
So that's those pedals and the modulation pedal.
Yeah, so that's the Boss MD200, which is their super effective modulation, like multi-modulation pedal. They have a bigger version that's the MD500, but personally I find it's not really all that worth it compared to the 200, because it's smaller. The only thing that you have with the 500 is you have like 1 or 2 more presets, and then you've got like an up and down button rather than like a memory button and an on button. But yeah, so that's what basically it would be. So that's the haunting mids. You've got the JHS AT Plus and that's what it's supposed to do. And then the third one is just these two.
Just the drive, no modulation.
Just the drive and the mids.
Man, that was a great sound. Let's what's number 4?
So 4 is is probably my favorite sound that I use. And this is the mids, and then so it goes to the mids, and then that signal is split in twine. So we go parallel mode instead of series. We've got the fuzz and the drive at the same time.
That's badass. How do you split the signal?
So it's kind of in the settings here, but if you go through and hit edit.
Oh, you can split them.
Oh yeah, you can manually split them. You'd have to go over to.
So how does it split it?
Well, it's a mono out, so you're never gonna get like the true signal, but it still retains the effect, which is super nice. I think ideally you can send a TRS, so you can get actual stereo. So here we go. Yeah, loop structure. So then you see I've got 1, and this is in 3, I believe, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've set this up, but it's 3, and then 4 is the fuzz, and 5 is the drive.
Gotcha. And they're in series.
You can see that they're in series.
And then they go
parallel.
through the rest of the. I hear the fuzz now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can hear the octave, but I couldn't hear the fuzz. Is the other one the octave then?
So no, this is just the filter. So it's essentially like, this is technically it's a signature pedal of, I can't remember the guitar player's name, but it's the guitar player from the Roots. But he has this old vintage fuzz that has like a cocked wah kind of sound.
Okay.
So you can set it. It's like all these 3 knobs plus the switch is all for this button, which is just the filter of like, you want to have like that kind of wah sound, or you can plug in a TRS on this side and use an expression pedal for like an actual true wah.
Yeah, to filter the fuzz. Cool.
Yeah, but that's the fuzz, and
man, these pedals are getting so advanced these days.
I know, but it's a great time to be a guitar player.
Yeah, it's half analogs, half digital, and it's kind of all over the map.
Yeah, it's super fun stuff. So going back to just the fuzz on its own, a little clean signal.
Spitty.
Oh yeah, that's why I like it.
All right, let's hear the 2.
So by themselves or just with them.
Let's hear it all. Let's hear the show.
but not least, a patch that I only use for one song in the Dead Lifeboat set. If anyone is familiar with the album Villains by Queens of the Stone Age, there is one song on the album that we played 2 songs off that album currently, but one is the much harder one. It's called The Evil Has Landed, and it goes... Obviously, I don't have a 9-string guitar like Josh Homme does, so I can't do the exact sound, but this gets pretty close.
It had the sound.
Yeah.
So that's the Pog. So what all's in that sound?
So the Pog 2 is a, well, for anyone that doesn't know what it stands for, it's a polyphonic octave generator. So I've got here, and all my knobs are totally screwed, but the presets are there, so that's what matters. So I've got the dry output, I've got the sub double octave, the sub octave, the octave above, and the double octave above. And for those who don't know, this is actually the secret weapon behind John Mayer's In Repair off of Continuum.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, so this actually gets a really cool organy kind of sound. I'm gonna turn off my fuzz and drive, because that's also going in there. So it's 5 is basically everything I just said about 4, plus the Pog.
Plus more octaves.
Plus more octave, yeah. So kind of get this like super cool organy sound. I used to remember how to play that song. So if anyone knows that song, that's how you play that.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, super fun. And you also have all the presets.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Which is a shame you can't MIDI it. Someone makes MIDI mods for it, which is cool, but...
Yeah, that would be nice. Otherwise you gotta bend over and...
Yeah, you gotta go through and like flip through them and press the button. And...
I mean, you gotta have like a really special band when you have more than like 2 or 3 settings of Pog.
Yeah, honestly.
You're some next level octave master getting to play super Pog songs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that covers those 5 pedals. What else do we have on here that's not through this loop?
So after the switcher, this goes out to the MD200, which we've already covered a little bit. And then that goes out to the Mood, which goes into the Switchblade Plus. And then that goes out to my Ruby, which currently we're not hearing any signal from, because we're not into an interface currently, but you can obviously hear plenty of sound demos on that online.
Well, and I mean, the point to be made, the Ruby is just a replacement of the Vox, right? At that point, you're just going DIN to something.
Exactly.
So what's the Mood? I don't even know what the Mood is.
Oh, so the Mood, this is a collaboration between 3 companies, between Chase Bliss, Old Blood Noise, and, oh, it's not Keeley, I think it's Cooper, right? Oh, man. Old Blood Noise. Yeah, I can't remember all the 3 companies. I know it's Old Blood Noise and Chase Bliss.
It has just as many knobs and switches and dip switches as the generation loss.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's just as complicated. Tell me in general terms what the pedal is.
So it's a reverb delay micro looper.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So you'll notice that compared to the Gen Loss, there's not a blinking knob or blinking light. So this is the loop. So when I say micro looper, I do mean micro. So I'll play something. I'm gonna slightly cleaner sound.
So what is it picking up if you're playing there?
So it's on, I think it's on the shimmer mode. So basically it's picking up just a quick sample of what I played. So every time it blinks, that's a new loop. So it's always listening. And the second I hit it on, that's what I'm choosing. And then as the name Shimmer name implies that it's an octave up. So it's throwing it, actually I think it's throwing it up 2 octaves.
Yeah, that sounds pretty high.
Yeah, it might actually just be an octave. But it's digitally sampled up. And then you've got a world clock. So you can change like the bit rate at which it does that, which also slows this down. Notice how slow
so it's
that
taking
was.
a longer sample?
Uh-huh. But it's also worse. So I'm gonna go. So it's kind of lo-fi, right? And I usually have, so I've got this set right now. Actually, let me just go through and change that. So right now I've got it set for a huge like ambient texture, which is great for stuff like Love.
So is it sampling it real time, or what is it doing?
So that's a super long reverb.
So it's just reverb on that, or is it reverb and delay?
It's just reverb on that.
So that's like a really long
tail reverb. Yeah. Yeah, probably a plate. Yeah.
It goes on forever, man.
Oh yeah, it's super awesome.
You get lost in that sound.
Get lost in the sauce on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
And then middle is always just whatever the knobs are set to currently. Then on the right side, I have it's just a more typical delay. I'll use this.
Kind of a slap.
Yeah. I usually set this for in the fade when I play Queens of Stone Age stuff. So we'll go. So just typical delay stuff. You know what a delay sounds like.
Yeah, man, sounds good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you can do a whole lot with this thing. This is like one of my favorite things to mess with. This is the one that I spend hours with. So I'll just go through and like set it. Let's go to like it's on slip. That's the best mode. So slip, and then that's good there. We'll do an envelope. Actually, let's do that one. All these different fun
Sounds
things.
like you have little fairies working in there.
Yeah.
Doing your handiwork. Well, thanks, brother. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with me today and showing me the shizzle. Mind playing us out?
Yeah, absolutely.